The night sky above Earth was no longer silent. Strange lights moved across the stars, sharp and bright, forming patterns that no human satellite had ever made. People stood on rooftops, pointing at the glowing trails. Fear spread like fire. Was this an invasion, or something far worse? Inside the United Nations headquarters, world leaders gathered in panic. The screens showed massive ships hovering in orbit. Each vessel was bigger than a city, dark and covered with lines of blue fire. No weapon on Earth could match such power. Suddenly, the air in the chamber vibrated. A voice, deep and echoing, filled the room. "People of Earth," it said, "do not fear. We are not your enemy. We are your shield. We swear to defend this planet against those who wish to destroy it." Gasps filled the room. The leaders looked at one another, unable to believe what they had heard. Aliens were not attacking. They were offering protection. A thin old man from the French delegation whispered, Why would they defend us? What do they want?" The voice returned, louder this time. "An ancient enemy moves through the stars. They have burned 1,000 worlds. They will come for you, but we will stand between them and your home. Accept our vow, and you shall be safe." For a moment, hope filled the hall. Perhaps this was salvation. Perhaps humanity had been chosen, rescued before the fire reached their world. But not everyone was convinced. General Harris of the United States slammed his hand on the table. "There is no free gift in war. Protection always comes with a price. What do they expect from us?" The alien voice seemed calm, almost kind. "You need give nothing. Only accept our presence, and we will guard you." Yet even as the words spread across the globe, broadcast to every city and every home, unease grew. People cheered in the streets, holding banners that read, "Guardians of Earth." But others whispered in fear. Why would a powerful species, with ships brighter than suns, care for a small world like Earth? A week later, the skies grew darker. The alien ships spread across orbit, forming a protective web. They never fired a shot, never harmed a human. They simply watched. Every rocket launch was tracked. Every military base was scanned. Every hidden place on Earth was now under their gaze. In secret rooms, scientists and officers debated endlessly. Dr. Patel, a brilliant young scientist, spoke in a tense meeting. "I studied their transmissions. They carry hidden signals, codes that mark our satellites, our defenses. They are not just protecting us. They are watching every move we make." The room fell silent. "Are you saying," one diplomat asked, "that they came not to save us, but to control us?" Dr. Patel's eyes were cold. "I am saying they will never leave." Rumors spread faster than truth. Some believed the aliens were honest guardians, fighting a real enemy among the stars. Others claimed it was all a lie, that the enemy did not exist, and the aliens were building a cage around Earth. One night, as the alien fleet glowed above the oceans, a farmer in Brazil looked up and whispered to his son, "They say they are our friends. But friends do not watch you like prison guards." In a hidden bunker, leaders from across the world gathered once more. The room was filled with smoke and anger. General Harris stood, his voice sharp. "If we allow this, humanity will never be free. We must answer them, not as children, but as a people who can fight." "But what if the enemy they spoke of is real?" asked the British Prime Minister. "If we send them away, what then? Are we not weaker without them?" Harris leaned forward. "Better to face the stars with courage than to live under someone else's shadow." A message was prepared. It was short, but it carried the weight of the entire planet. When the aliens received it, their ships turned silently, almost confused. The words echoed across space. "We do not need your protection. Leave our skies or face us." For the first time, the alien fleet was silent. No reply came. Hours passed. Then one ship lowered closer to Earth, as if testing the humans' resolve. General Harris gave the order. A new missile, built in secret, using experimental technology launched from a desert base. It tore through the sky and struck the alien vessel. In a flash of fire, the massive ship crumbled into burning fragments. The world held its breath. Had humanity just started a war they could not win? Then came the reply. Not anger, not destruction, but silence. The alien fleet pulled back slightly, as if studying this strange species that dared to defy them. Finally, the deep voice returned, but it was no longer calm. It carried something else: respect. No world has ever spoken to us like this. You fear us, yet you strike. You doubt us, yet you stand. You are unlike the others. The fleet began to move. Slowly, the ships turned, leaving Earth's orbit one by one. Before they vanished into the black sea of stars, the voice returned one final time. We came as guardians. We would have made you wards of our empire, but you are not children to be guarded. You are warriors, and for that, we will remember you. As the skies cleared, the people of Earth looked up at the stars. For the first time, they saw them not as prisons or threats, but as a battlefield they might one day walk themselves. Humanity was not to be caged, not to be ruled. They had shown the galaxy their true face, and in the silence of space, the universe whispered back, humanity was not weak. Humanity was not prey. Humanity was dangerous. The world had not recovered from the shock of the alien departure when another message arrived. This time, it was not a distant echo from orbit, but a clear transmission that every nation could hear. The voice, calm and steady, declared, "We return not as rulers, but as allies. Accept our offer, and we will fight beside you. Refuse, and you will face the darkness of the galaxy alone." Inside a heavily guarded hall in Geneva, leaders gathered once again. The tension was thick, as though the air itself carried the weight of their decision. Screens showed the alien fleet holding position beyond the moon, not advancing but not retreating either. Their presence was neither hostile nor peaceful. It was simply a waiting shadow above Earth. The German Chancellor spoke first, her voice sharp with suspicion. Why would they offer an alliance after we destroyed one of their ships? Respect, perhaps. But what if it is another trick? General Harris leaned forward, his jaw tight. They have power far beyond ours. If they wanted to enslave us, they would have done so already. Instead, they come back asking for cooperation. That alone is strange. A younger leader, the Prime Minister of Canada, asked quietly, "What if their warning is true? What if there really is an enemy coming? Can we risk standing alone?" The room fell silent. The possibility could not be ignored. If another species threatened Earth, humanity would not stand a chance on its own, yet trusting the same fleet that had once tried to protect them seemed almost impossible. Later that evening, a private meeting took place in a dark chamber beneath the city. Only a handful of officials were present, along with Dr. Patel. Her voice carried both caution and urgency. "I have studied their signals again. This time, I found fragments of information that point to other star systems. Records of battles. Whole worlds burned. If these are not faked, then their enemy is real, and it is closer than we think." General Harris crossed his arms. "And you are sure these are not planted messages? A convenient story to lure us into their camp?" Dr. Patel shook her head. "I cannot be certain, but if even half of it is true, humanity cannot survive what is coming without help." The decision was delayed, but eventually a group of ships was permitted to land on Earth for the first formal meeting. The landing was unlike any spectacle the world had ever seen. 3 colossal vessels descended slowly through the atmosphere, their surfaces glowing with lines of living light. Cities fell silent as people watched them hover over the oceans, like titans of steel and fire. One ship touched down on a secure island, where human leaders waited. The doors opened and alien figures stepped forward. They were tall, with pale silver skin and eyes like liquid metal. Their armor shimmered as though made from glass and fire. Despite their fearsome appearance, they did not raise weapons. Instead, they bowed. The lead alien spoke, its voice translated through a resonant device. "You struck us, and we did not. Strike back? That is rare in this galaxy. You are strong and you value freedom. For this reason, we do not seek to rule you. We seek your bond in war." The hall grew restless. The French delegate whispered, "They speak of war as if it is already here." The alien's gaze moved across the humans. "The enemy you doubt is not a lie. They are destroyers. They do not conquer. They erase. If they come here, your cities will be ash. We have fought them for centuries, but we cannot stand alone. Together, perhaps, there is hope." Humanity's leaders exchanged nervous glances. The weight of choice pressed on them. Trust beings once suspected of deceit or face the stars without allies. For hours, negotiations continued. The aliens promised shared knowledge, weapons, defenses, and technology that could raise Earth's armies into the void, but always with a warning: time is short, they are moving. That night, a storm broke over the island. Inside her quarters, Dr. Patel stared at the alien data they had given her as a gesture of trust. Lines of code, maps of star systems, and scattered records of battles lost. Her hands trembled as she translated the last set of coordinates. They pointed to a system barely 30 light-years away. The most chilling part was not the distance, it was the date. The enemy had destroyed that system only 3 months ago. She rushed into the chamber where the leaders were still arguing. "They are not lying," she cried. "The enemy is real. They are close. If we waste more time, Earth may be next." Her words shattered the last fragments of doubt. Humanity had always been cautious, always slow to trust, but the thought of waiting until the sky burned was far worse than the risk of alliance. The next morning, a decision was announced. Earth would join hands with the alien fleet, but not as wards or servants. The agreement was written with fierce pride. "We fight together, but Earth commands its own forces. We bow to no power but our own." The alien commander bowed again, his voice steady. "So be it. Let the stars witness the bond of two species who will not yield." As the ships lifted back into the night sky, a new shadow rose in human hearts. Not fear, but anticipation. The future no longer belonged to Earth. Alone, the galaxy was wide, dangerous, and cruel. Yet now, humanity would not walk into it unprepared. And somewhere in the endless dark, something was already moving toward them. The alliance with the alien fleet had calmed some of Earth's fears, but not all. Their massive ships still circled, in orbit, glowing like silent guardians. News channels spoke of unity, of hope, of a future where humanity and the alien defenders stood side by side. But in the shadows, doubts remained. Dr. Patel walked through the underground lab where her team had been studying the alien technology. The air smelled of ozone from the strange devices they had received. Her assistant, Mark, handed her a data pad with a worried look. "We ran the scans again. Look at this." She frowned as streams of code appeared. "These aren't just defense signals," she whispered. "They're tracking pulses. Every satellite we launch, every ship we move, they're marking it." Mark lowered his voice. "So they're mapping everything we do?" "Yes," she said, her chest tightening. "Not only that, they're storing the data in their fleet. It's like they're building a complete record of Earth's strength." That night, in a hidden chamber, Dr. Patel presented her findings to the world leaders. "They told us they want alliance, but this is surveillance. They are watching us closer than we imagined. If their true goal was only to fight this so-called enemy, why record every detail of our defenses?" The Russian ambassador leaned forward, his voice heavy. "You think the Guardians are preparing to control us?" "I think," Dr. Patel replied. "They never stopped preparing. They just changed their words." The room filled with tense voices. Some argued it was normal for allies to share data. Others warned this was not alliance, but ownership disguised as protection. Meanwhile, aboard the alien flagship, their commander met with his council. His metallic eyes glowed faintly as he spoke. The humans are clever, they have spirit, but their suspicion grows. If they uncover too much, this bond will break. One of his officers hissed, "Then why not strike now? Crush their defenses, bind their leaders, and make this world ours." The commander shook his head slowly. "No, their defiance is their strength. If we conquer them, we gain only another slave world. But if they stand with us willingly, their fury will become our weapon." On Earth, whispers spread among military officers. General Harris confronted Dr. Patel one evening. "If your theory is correct, we need proof. Something solid we can show the people, otherwise panic will tear this planet apart." She hesitated. "There might be a way. We could infiltrate their signal network. If we catch them sending commands to our systems, the truth will be undeniable." Harris gave a grim nod. "Then do it, but quietly. If they learn of this before we're ready, it could be war." The operation began in silence. A group of hackers, scientists and intelligence officers worked for weeks. Nights passed without sleep. Finally, one evening, Mark burst into the lab with wide eyes. "We found it. They're not just tracking our ships, they're planting commands into our satellites. Tiny codes, invisible to us, but strong enough to override systems if they choose." Dr. Patel stared at the screen, her heart pounding. So at any moment they could blind us, shut us down, leave us helpless. The revelation reached the secret council. General Harris slammed his fist on the table. "Enough! They came with smiles and promises, but this is the truth. They're keeping us under a leash." The British Prime Minister looked pale. "But if we confront them, they could destroy us instantly. Their fleet is more powerful than anything we've ever faced." Dr. Patel spoke softly. "We don't have to fight them directly. We need to show them we are not blind. We need to show them humanity sees through the mask." Days later, a meeting was arranged with the alien commander. The great hall glowed with strange blue light as he stepped forward, his silver skin shining. "Why have you called us humans? Is our alliance not strong?" General Harris's voice echoed across the chamber. "Strong or controlled? We know what you've done. You are not just watching. You are holding the knife to our throat." The alien commander tilted his head, expression unreadable. "You misunderstand. These measures are for stability, to ensure you do not act rashly, to keep our bond safe." Dr. Patel rose, holding the datapad high. "This is no bond. It is a cage. You promised protection, but your hand hovers over the chains. That is not trust. That is control." The room fell silent. The alien council shifted uneasily. For a long moment the commander said nothing. Then he spoke, his tone low. "Your species is unusual. Others would have welcomed our shield without question. But you resist. You demand respect. Perhaps that is why you are dangerous." General Harris's eyes narrowed. "We are dangerous because we will never kneel. If you want alliance, it must be on equal ground. No more hidden codes, no more silent chains." The alien commander's gaze burned like molten metal. Finally, he gave a slow nod. "Very well. You have forced our hand. We will strip the bindings from your systems. But understand this, without us the enemy will consume you. We hold no leash now, but the war is coming. When it does, you will see why chains were sometimes needed." The meeting ended, but unease lingered. Had humanity truly won back its freedom, or had the aliens simply shifted their game once more? That night, Dr. Patel stood outside, looking at the night sky. The alien ships still glittered above like silent watchers. For the first time, she realized Earth was caught between two dangers: the enemy that might come from the stars, and the so-called allies who already stood at their gates. The hall in Geneva was filled with silence. World leaders sat around them, great circular table, their faces pale under the bright lights. Outside, alien ships still circled the planet, their blue glow painting the night sky. The alliance had cracked, trust had been broken. Humanity now stood at a crossroad. General Harris broke the silence. His voice was firm, yet heavy. We can no longer play their game. They promised protection, but they tried to chain us. Enough is enough. We must show them we will not bow. The German Chancellor shifted uneasily. Are you suggesting war? Harris, if we strike them, Earth may burn. Harris leaned forward. Not war, resolve. They must see we are not their pets. They must see our strength. Dr. Patel nodded slowly. He is right. They believe they can guide us like children. If we do not answer, they will never stop tightening their grip. We must make them understand. Humanity does not kneel. The French ambassador whispered, "And how do we tell that to a fleet that could destroy us in seconds?" The room was still. Then Harris's hand slammed on the table with a voice they cannot ignore. That night, the leaders worked in secret. A single message was drafted, only a few sentences long, but every word carried the weight of an entire species. By dawn, the transmission was ready. The broadcast reached the alien flagship first. The commander stood tall as the words echoed through his chamber. "We do not need your chains. We do not need your shield. Leave our world or face us. Humanity is not yours to protect. We protect ourselves." For a long moment, the aliens said nothing. Then their ships shifted in orbit, drifting like restless predators. The commander turned to his officers. "They dare to threaten us. No world has ever spoken so boldly," an officer hissed. "Shall we crush them?" The commander raised his metallic hand. "No, wait, let us see what these humans truly are." On Earth, panic spread as the alien fleet drew closer. People feared invasion, destruction, fire from the skies. Yet no attack came. The ships remained, watching, waiting in a secret desert. Base, humanity prepared its own answer. Dr. Patel and her team had worked for months on experimental weapons, hybrid designs using fragments of alien technology. The first missile stood tall on the launch pad, sleek and black, glowing faintly with strange energy. General Harris stared at it with grim pride. "If they test us, this will be our reply." The test came sooner than expected. One alien ship lowered its orbit, hovering dangerously close to Earth's atmosphere. Its presence was clear, a warning, a challenge. The council gathered in urgency. The British Prime Minister spoke quickly. "If we fire, we risk full war. If we don't, we look weak." Harris's eyes were like steel. "Weakness now is death later. They must learn we are not prey." Alyssa, order was given. The missile launched into the sky, roaring like thunder. People across the world looked up, holding their breath as the bright trail climbed higher and higher. In seconds, it struck the alien vessel. A flash of fire lit the heavens. The alien ship shuddered, split apart, and fell in burning fragments into the ocean. Silence fell across the planet. Humanity had done the unthinkable. They had struck the Guardians themselves. In orbit, the alien fleet moved like a stirred hive. Weapons lit up, ships shifted into formation. Fear gripped every human heart. Cities waited for fire to fall, but instead the alien commander's voice filled the skies. "Humans, you are unlike any we have met. You strike even when you fear. You resist even when outmatched. You would rather burn free than live chained." His officers looked at him in shock. "Commander, they destroyed one of our vessels. Why do we not punish them?" The commander's silver eyes burned. "Because punishment will not break them. It will only prove their strength. Do you not see? They are not slaves. They are equals. And perhaps they are the allies we need most." On Earth, leaders waited tense and breathless. Then the message arrived. Your defiance is heard. Your fire is seen. We will not bind you. We will fight beside you as equals. The war is coming. Prepare yourselves. Dr. Patel listened to the words and felt her chest tighten. Humanity had won respect, but at a price. The enemy the aliens spoke of was real, and now Earth stood exposed in the galaxy. General Harris looked up at the stars, his voice quiet. We have shown them who we are, but when the true enemy comes, will even our fury be enough? The alien fleet pulled back, no longer surrounding Earth like prison guards, but hovering in the distance like wary partners. For the first time, humanity was not a subject, not a ward, not a weak species in need of chains. They were something far more dangerous, free. And in the endless dark of space, the universe had taken notice. The world was still trembling from the shot that had destroyed the alien ship. Cities across Earth cheered, some in defiance, others in fear. For the first time in history, humanity had stood up against a power far beyond them, and survived. But the skies above remained filled with alien vessels, glowing like silent storms. Inside the United Nations bunker, the air was tense. General Harris stood before the council, his voice cold and steady. We proved our strength, but do not be fooled. This is not the end. They are watching how we respond next. If we falter, they will see weakness. The British Prime Minister leaned forward. And if we push too hard, they still outgun us 1,000 to 1. If they attack in force, Earth will fall. Dr. Patel spoke softly but firmly. They haven't attacked yet. That means they're uncertain. That's our weapon. Uncertainty. We must use it. The council fell silent. They all knew the truth. Humanity had walked onto a blade's edge. One wrong step could bring fire upon every city. High above, aboard the alien flagship, the commander stared at the burning wreckage of his lost vessel. His officers waited, restless. One hissed, "Commander, they insult us. No species dares. Strike us and lives. Let us end this." The commander raised his metallic hand. "And what will that gain us? Another slave world? Another frightened race crawling at our feet? No. These humans are different. Their fire burns hotter than fear. That is why we must not crush them." "Then what?" another officer demanded. "Do we sit idle while they spit in our face?" The commander's eyes glowed. "We test them. Let us see how far their courage runs." The following night, 3 alien warships lowered into Earth's orbit, casting shadows across the oceans. They did not fire. They did not speak. They simply hovered close enough for every radar to scream warning. In the war room, alarms blared. Harris barked orders. "Track them! Weapons ready!" The French ambassador's voice shook. "They are provoking us. They want to see if we break." Dr. Patel stared at the glowing dots on the screen. "They are daring us to act. They want to know if our defiance was a single strike or a way of life." The tension stretched for hours. No one slept. Across the world, people gathered in the streets, watching the sky with fearful eyes. Children cried as the warships glowed, like suns above them. At dawn, one alien vessel sent a beam of light into the upper atmosphere. It was not a weapon, but a show of power, a reminder of what they could unleash at any moment. "General," an aide whispered, "shall we fire?" Harris's jaw tightened. His finger hovered over the command. "Not yet. Let them make the first mistake." Suddenly the alien voice returned, filling every screen and radio. "Humans, you claim you are free. You claim you are strong. Prove it. Show us your will, and we will know if you are worthy to stand as equals." The council erupted in confusion. "What does that mean?" cried the German chancellor. Dr. Patel's face was pale. "It means they are forcing us into a standoff. They won't leave until we answer them again, with action, not words." Harris gave a grim smile. "Then we'll give them an answer they'll never forget." Orders were issued. Across the globe, hidden weapons rose from silos, ships moved into position, and experimental crafts took flight. The skies filled with human steel, crude but proud. The world had never been so united, not in peace, but in defiance. When the alien fleet saw this, their silence stretched long. Then the commander spoke again. "Impressive. Few species would bare their teeth at us. You have chosen the harder path, perhaps the only path." But the test was not over. One alien ship launched a drone into the atmosphere. It streaked across the sky, faster than anything humans had ever seen. At once, human fighters scrambled, missiles launched, the drone dodged, twisted, and finally was struck down over the Pacific, crashing in flames. Cheers filled the war room. Harris slammed his fist on the table. "That's it! We showed them again!" Dr. Patel frowned. "Don't cheer too soon. That wasn't just a drone. It was a message. They wanted to see if we would fight it or fear it. We chose fight." High above, the alien commander turned to his council. "Now we know. They are not prey, they are predators, and predators must be respected." Still, one officer asked, "What if their fire turns on us? What if they cannot be controlled?" The commander's gaze was hard. "Then they will be dangerous allies, but better dangerous allies than weak slaves." The next day, the fleet pulled back from low orbit. They remained visible, but no longer pressed so close. Another message came, calm and final. "You have proven your will. We will not chain you. We will fight beside you as equals. But be ready, the true enemy comes." In Geneva, relief spread like a wave. Some cried, some cheered. But Harris only muttered, "This was only the beginning. The real war hasn't even started." Dr. Patel stood at the window, watching the alien lights fade into the distance. A chill ran down her spine. Humanity had forced respect from their would-be guardians, but respect came with a price. If the enemy the alien spoke of was real, Earth had just chosen the path of fire. The people of Earth looked up at the night sky with new eyes. They were no longer waiting to be saved. They were standing on their own feet, even as the stars prepared to test them again. And in the silence of space, unseen by either side, something vast and dark was already moving closer. The world had changed. The skies above Earth were no longer symbols of fear, but of defiance. Humanity had stood against the alien fleet, tested its will, and earned a strange kind of respect. Yet even as people celebrated, unease lingered. The aliens' final warning still echoed in every ear. "The true enemy comes." Inside the war room, General Harris paced back and forth. His voice carried the same weight it had from the first day. "We proved ourselves, but this is not victory. It is only recognition. If their enemy is real, Earth is standing at the edge of fire." Dr. Patel sat across the table, eyes fixed on streams of alien data glowing on her screen. "I've traced their records again," she said softly. "The destruction they showed us wasn't fabricated. Entire systems were burned to ash. The pattern is moving closer. If the enemy stays its course, Earth could be within reach soon." The British Prime Minister leaned forward nervously. "How soon?" Patel hesitated. "Months, maybe weeks." The room went cold. Leaders exchanged fearful glances. They had wanted freedom, but now freedom carried a terrible weight. High above, aboard the alien flagship, the commander stood with his council. The silver glow of his eyes reflected the shifting stars. One of his officers hissed, "They are not ready. Their weapons are crude, their ships fragile. When the enemy comes, they will fall." The commander's voice was low, steady, perhaps, but they have what others do not, the will to fight, even when doomed. That fire may be what saves them. Back on Earth, preparations began. Factories ran day and night, building ships and weapons with both human and alien design. Soldiers trained harder than ever. People volunteered in millions, ready to defend not just their cities, but their world. For the first time, Earth was united under a single purpose: survival. One evening, Dr. Patel stood outside with Harris, watching the strange glow of alien vessels high above. She whispered, "Do you trust them now?" Harris shook his head slowly. "Trust? No. But respect, perhaps. And sometimes respect is enough." Days later, the sky itself trembled. From deep space, new signals arrived, dark, harsh, and unlike anything before. The alien fleet shifted instantly, preparing for battle. Their commander's voice reached Earth. "It begins." On every screen, strange shapes appeared on the edges of the solar system. Shadows darker than night, ships like jagged blades, moving in silence but with terrifying speed. Fear spread across the world. Families clutched one another, cities held their breath. For the first time, the enemy was not a story. It was here. The alien fleet surged forward to meet the invaders. But this time, Earth did not hide. Human warships, newly built and untested, rose into the sky. Pilots whispered quiet prayers as they left the atmosphere, knowing they might never return. The first clash came near the orbit of Mars. Fire streaked across the void. Alien guardians fought savagely, but the enemy ships cut through them with brutal power. 2 defenders fell within minutes. In the command center on Earth, Harris growled, "This is it. Send in our fleet." Dr. Patel's voice shook. "If we join this battle, we reveal everything. If we hold back, Earth might still burn." Harris's fist slammed down. "We didn't come this far to cower. Launch everything we have." Human. Warships shot forward, crude engines pushing them into the storm. Missiles streaked, cannons roared. One enemy ship exploded under the combined assault. Humanity had drawn blood. The alien commander's voice carried across the chaos. "They fight beside us. They are true." But the battle raged with brutal cost. Human ships shattered. Brave crews vanished in flashes of fire. Still, no one turned back. Every loss only hardened the will of those who remained. At last, the tide began to shift. Human weapons, though weaker, struck with surprising precision. Their defiance broke the enemy formation, forcing them into retreat. The remaining shadows pulled back into the darkness of space, leaving wreckage behind. Silence fell across the system. The war was not won, but Earth had survived the first strike. In Geneva, exhausted leaders gathered as the alien commander appeared on screen. His metallic eyes burned, but for the first time, his voice carried something rare. Humility. "Humans," he said, "we came to chain you. We thought you needed guardians, but in this battle you proved us wrong. You stood not behind us, but beside us. You bled for your freedom and for the stars. You are not children. You are not prey. You are our equals." The room filled with stunned silence. For the first time, the aliens bowed their heads. Dr. Patel whispered almost to herself, "They finally see us." General Harris's voice was hard, but proud. "Good, because now the galaxy will see us too." From that day, Earth was no longer a world waiting to be protected. It was a world that had stepped into the fire and survived. Humanity had shown its strength, its fury, and its unbreakable will. The galaxy had expected another weak race to be sheltered, chained, or destroyed. Instead, it found something it had never faced before. Humanity was dangerous, and the stars would never forget it.